All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
In this session, we're continuing to talk about specifically the mind's eye. And the first thing that we're going to do is to review definitions. I'm a great believer in being cognizant of the definition of what you're talking about. This whole series is about visualization. So again, let's address ourselves to the meaning of the term visualization. Visualization is seeing and feeling yourself in your own mind, already being, doing, and having the good that you desire. Visualization is deliberate, positive, creative dreaming of things into expression. Visualization is using the imagination consciously and willfully to be what you want to be, to do what you want to do, and to have what you want to have. Let's talk about the mind's eye, and let's review the definitions for the mind's eye from the last session. When we talk about the mind's eye, or the eye of the mind, we mean the esoteric visional faculty of God in man, which sees mental images into manifestation. The eye of the mind is God in creative action through the imagination of man. I like that. And I want you to say to yourselves, God creates through my imagination. Come on.
God creates through my imagination.
Remember that. It's good to know that. God creates through my imagination. Say that again.
God creates through my imagination.
That brings us specifically to this session's lesson titled, In My Mind's Eye. And there's a verse of Scripture here from Romans the 4th chapter and the 17th verse. As it is written, I have made thee a father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even God, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those things which are not as though they were. I want you to pay particular attention to the words, calls those things which be not as though they were. Because here is the key to what imagination does. Here is the key to what visualization does. When you deliberately visualize something, you are calling those things which are not materially as though they were. And that is a creative action of God. Referring again to a recent testimony here about visualization, you remember the lady said that she went to custom order her new Lincoln Continental, and she told the man the color combinations that she wanted and the colors of the upholstery and various other features. And the man said to her, that's not in the book. To which she replied, what? But it's in my mind. So what was she doing? Calling those things which were not as though they were. And this is a very important point to remember about the modus operandi of visualization, the modus operandi of imagination. I was reviewing the tapes from the last videotaping, and I heard Mrs. Jackson testifying about how she visualized going on that trip to Los Angeles with me, and she saw herself in Los Angeles. She just visualized the trip. What was she doing? Calling those things which were not as though they were. And in a few days, somebody that she had worked for years ago wrote her a letter from Los Angeles and sent her $1,500. What you see is what you get. Visualization is one of the most amazing techniques that you can use to be what you want to be, to do what you want to do, and to have what you want to have. And I suggest to you that you practice it until you really master it. After a while, you will be able to actually see yourself seeing things into existence, creating things by your imagination. And you will learn how to consciously and deliberately see things and speak things into existence. But it takes practice. And may I suggest to you also that the art of visualization is a skill to be developed. I want to say this again and have you write it and repeat it after me. Visualization is a skill to be practiced and developed. Together, visualization is a skill to be practiced and developed. Here again is one of the differences in this teaching and in this philosophy. You must practice. I can tell you, other people can tell you, but nobody can do your doing for you. Nobody can do my doing for me. Together, nobody can do my doing for me. I can pray for you, but I can't do your praying for you. I'm recommending to you again one of the best writers on the subject of visualization that I know of is Neville. Ask for anything by Neville, particularly Resurrection. Get that book and never stop reading it. We have had people to use visualization that had never been exposed to it before, and I mean they just got immediate results. One of the things you have to be careful about in visualization is not to have any stress or strain about it. Visualization should be done with effortless effort. How should it be done? With effortless effort. It should always be pleasurable. There should be no force about it whatsoever. The visualization treatments that we've practiced together here in these classes have really been wonderful, so much so at the end that I just get carried away. And really I drag my feet on coming back because I usually end up out on a beach. You know, the vision goes before you, and it will come again and receive you unto itself, so that where I am, there you may be also. That particular verse of Scripture means that when you visualize something, you send your messenger before you. The vibrations of your visualization goes throughout the universe. The vibrations of your visualization go throughout the universe and brings shape and form to what you visualize, and leads you across a bridge of incident to the materialization of whatever you visualize. And many times it happens in strange ways, like the lady who visualized the trip to Los Angeles, and an employer from years ago, just out of the blue, sent her the money. You know, your vibrations are always drawing things to you anyway. If I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. It means whatever idea, whatever belief, whatever feeling, whatever vision I lift up and believe in my mind will draw all corresponding manifestations unto me. Everything necessary for the materialization of your vision will be drawn to you in ways that you cannot and need not consciously devise. I want to repeat that. Whatever you visualize will be brought into your experience in ways which you cannot and need not devise. Part of it is from a quotation from Neville. Whatever you visualize. Maybe I haven't told you so much about my favorite books. Next to the Bible, that is my favorite book. That's saying a lot. If you ever master visualization, you've got it. Whatever you visualize will materialize in ways which you cannot and need not consciously devise. And it is well that I dwell on this again and again, because I don't want you to think that you are responsible to force things into existence, to force what you visualize. Every good desire has its own mechanics, its own modus operandi of materialization. And it may help you to know this. Every good desire that God ever gives you has its own built-in modus operandi, its own built-in power of fulfillment. Wow! Let me hear you say, power of fulfillment. So you remember this about your visualization. All of your good imagination, all of your good visualization has its own built-in power of fulfillment. Every good desire that you ever have had, do have, and ever will have is given to you by God in you. Remember that. God is the origin of my every good desire. Together? God is the power of fulfillment of my every good desire. Remember that. Now, what are you going to do if you want some good? The answer comes, see yourself with it in your mind's eye. When you see yourself with it and feel it in your bones, you'll get it. You must see it and feel it. And if you can see it and feel it, you'll get it. And this works for everything, including money. Back to the lady who was afraid of driving. She overcame that fear, and she got a brand new car by using the process of visualization, by using the eye of her mind. With the eye of her mind, she saw herself driving, turning the wheel, looking in the rearview mirror. You know, can't you feel the reality of her vision? You see, you must put reality in it. And notice how things happened. While she was eating lunch, listening to the radio, an announcement came on the radio, specifically for those of you who would like to drive, but you are afraid. All of these things come together if you keep imagining it. And she was wondering, well, then if I do learn how to drive, how am I going to get the money? She learned to drive, and her husband gave her a brand new car. Let me hear you say, it works. And again, I want to repeat, when you really start practicing visualization, you get to that point where you can catch it happening. And you'll get to the point where you can see it and speak it, and it just happens immediately, right at the same time. Another very interesting thing about visualization really leads all of the other senses. You see it, and then that helps you to feel it. That helps you to smell it. That helps you to taste it. For example, when we do our visualization, I go to the beach and we order those drinks, I taste them. I smell those flowers. Now, I believe that when an impression reaches the subconscious mind, it is actually impressed upon the subconscious mind by feeling. I believe that all subconscious impression is translated in the latter end into feeling. But again, the visional faculty leads all of the other esoteric senses. And when you see it, you can feel it better. You can smell it better. You can taste it better. And the lady said that while she was visualizing for that car, she went around the house. Just like I told you, I used to go down the road pushing a dead branch off of a tree, walking 4 miles to school and back with my mother, just driving it. All right. That gets into also what I call the power of fascination. What fascinates you? What do you love? It must fascinate you, and you must love it until you can see it. I've had a lifelong love affair with automobiles, and they just keep coming to me. My garage runneth over. I have a love and a fascination for clothing, and they just crawl right up on my back. What fascinates me? Several of the news reporters was telling me about the fascination of people with negative news, with bad news. And that's what creates more bad news. Be careful. Do not indulge in a negative fascination. Become fascinated with good and visualize that good. See that good in your mind's eye. Money has always been a great fascination to me, and I'll tell you that. I'm fascinated by it. It's so convenient, isn't it? And I don't care what the religious folks say about it. Money is nice. Like one man said, he said, I've been poor and I've been rich. And he said, and I can tell you from experience, rich is better.